Hey guys, this is Comics G-Man today, and I have one question for you. What the hell is going on with Alan Ritchson? Yeah, so I saw that Yellowflash made a recent video about Alan Ritchson. Roid Rage. Alan Ritchson goes viral in manic meltdown rant. New Motor City movie bombs hard. So what the hell is going on with this guy? Now, the only thing that I ever actually liked Alan Ritchson in was in Titans when he played Hawk, and he was with Dove. Hawk and Dove. Two really underrated characters, but I think he did a really cool job with Hawk in Titans. Kind of gave him some interesting complexity. So I don't know what is going on here with Alan Ritchson. Let's watch what Yellowflash is saying about this guy.
It's been a minute since I talked about old Alan Ritchson, but he's back in the news again. This time for making some pretty wild comments. And what makes this even more hilarious to me is the fact that he had a movie out, and I don't think anybody even knew about it, to be honest. It's a movie called Motor City. And apparently there's like 10 lines of dialogue in the entire movie. That's it. It's almost like a silent film. But nobody...
When I went to see the that crappy movie Unlucky or Lucky's whatever, you know, the one with Scott Eastwood that I said was like unlucky nihilism, how this movie has absolutely no meaning and it feels completely fucking pointless, right? Well, they showed the Motor City trailer during that, and I thought it looked interesting, but it wasn't enough for me to say like, oh shit, like I got to go to the movies and I got to go see this. All right. Like it looks original in its own fashion. And there's only 10 lines of dialogue in the entire movie. And most of the movie is like an action graphic novel. So it's like, I think that's a pretty original idea. I'm not sure if it's enough to get enough people in the movies. And obviously it's not. It's performing terribly, apparently. I'm not surprised though, because a lot of these movies, like if they're not like these big names like Odyssey and Spider-Man, Brand New Day, unfortunately, I mean, with the exception of like Obsession, which I'm going to watch tonight because everybody is telling me to watch it. With that exception, I would say Motor City had no chance in hell. It just didn't. And it might be the coolest movie ever made. I got a feeling it's a pretty good movie. It looks pretty cool in its own right. But yeah, let's just keep going with this.
We watched it. The Odyssey's doing good. Not Motor City. It pulled, according to Deadline, an estimated $850,000 on Friday, and that includes Thursday previews. And then went on to make $471,000 on Saturday, resulting in a box office spectacular firebomb of $1.625 million, which is really, really bad. Was in 1,600 theaters. That's it. That is it. Rotten Tomatoes score apparently sitting at 64%. And, you know, that sounds about right. I don't know. Probably not even that big of an audience score because nobody went and watched it. I find his behavior very funny because the guy has a pretty big conservative fan base. Just about everything that he's in.
Does he? I don't even know. Did anybody here know Alan Ritchson and his background and what the hell I pretty much fell off of him, like maybe Reacher season 1. And not that that was a terrible show, but it wasn't anything that made me want to go back to it. So after I finished season 1 of Reacher, it was good. You know, it was a good show, but I just forgot about it. It was like The Boys. By season 2, we just fell off of it. I don't know why, but it just wasn't enough for me to get hooked back into the show. People tell me to go back to The Boys, and I always say like, yeah, I will see The Boys again. but I just never have that, like, I have to see this. I have to see what's going on. I have to see what all the talk is about. It just doesn't interest me. So yeah, I fell off of that a while ago. So anybody watching this and you know what's going on with Alan Ritchson, what's been going on with him since Reacher, let me know in the comments.
Kind of caters towards that audience, especially Reacher and some of this other stuff that he's been in. Not all of it, right? Of course. But still, I mean, why sabotage yourself like this? And I think maybe it's the roids or something. Whatever he's taking, I think, is just putting him over the edge. And he's always talking about how he's a Christian. And I don't know too many Christians that say they want to see people laying in a pool of their own blood and teeth, which he actually says, which is why he's getting a lot of the heat that he's getting. In fact, right now on social media, which is what got me to look into this, he's trending. Alan Ritchson faces backlash for podcast comments endorsing anger and violence. And we're going to take a look at the clip that's been going pretty viral. Of course, now some people are praising this, and it's the usual people that are always going on and on about, you know, punching people.
Get with it. What did he say, man? What did he say that's so controversial? Can we hear it now, please?
Suck up to that kind of crowd, but they don't watch the kind of shit that he makes. So I'm just confused.
I hate to say it, though. Alan Ritchson doesn't look like the kind of guy that's sucking up to anybody. I'm just saying, bro. He doesn't look like he's sucking up to nobody. I could be wrong.
Confused on it. Like, why even do this? And to be fair, it's not only him that does this. It's most of the people in Hollywood that get wild like this guy, but he goes a little further.
Okay, how wild is he getting? Just show us. Just tell us.
You know, as much as I don't like Mark Ruffalo.
Is he like tearing his shirt off, you know, like those old 1990s videos of women showing their tits and shit? Except he's like, look at my abs, man. Oh my God, he's wild. Wild.
He never comes out and says shit like he wants to brutally murder people, right? He never says anything like that. He just says dumb shit like nuclear power is terrible and we can't have plants like...
Bro, when you're defending Mark Ruffalo, when you're trying to say like, okay, Mark Ruffalo's not that bad, there's a problem, bro. You know, because Mark Ruffalo, he's retarded. I think he's like genuinely, I think Mark is retarded.
That around, even though it's completely safe. He has no idea how that kind of energy works because he's a moron that went to theater school, right? He doesn't know shit. Just like most of these celebrities that run around telling you that you need to cut back and help fight the climate.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't get away from it. Like, people just have opinions now. And this is it, man. Like, you think by now that people would kind of be used to it. And I'm not saying to accept it if it annoys you, but I'm saying you think you'd grow some kind of tolerance to the fact that people who are acting and just people all over the TV, and even if you disagree with them most of the time or all of the time, this is it, man. They just have their own fucking opinions. This is humanity. This is life. Well, you know, I mean, isn't it kind of getting a little boring that we keep complaining about these things a little bit? Don't you feel like we're still living in 2016? I kind of feel like we should be living in 2026 right now.
While they take private jets down the road, right? Literally. Some of them will take it, fly up into the air.
No, yeah, that's absolutely true.
They don't want to drive 3 hours. It's wild.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So here is a minute and 45 seconds
All right,
of
finally.
the podcast clip. He went on Dax Shepard's podcast, and they started getting into politics. I'd like to sit down and watch the whole thing, actually.
Did he say Dax Shepard? Oh no, I fucked up my hotkey. But you know what? I'm glad. I'm going to skip around.
Getting into politics. I'd like to sit down and watch the whole thing.
Still getting used to using the hotkeys and shit. You know what I mean, guys? Still getting used to it.
What the fuck?
Oh my God, look at that. I'm affecting this shit. God damn, I got to fix that. Sorry, guys. I still got to figure out how to use this shit. I don't know what I'm doing here. All right, so this is when he starts talking. Let's see what Alan has to say for himself.
And getting into, I just
Blah,
want to
blah,
see
blah.
what all was said. But we're gonna just react to what's been going viral here, and let's take a listen.
I was working with Guy Ritchie on Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, and one of my favorite things about working with him is he's just
That's a good movie, by the way. I like some of the
Didn't
stuff
watch
that he's
it.
in. It's just nuts. Nuts. Clearly nuts. I mean, you're not angry like this and normal.
he's an intellectual. He said at one point, he goes, "I think everybody should wake up in a pool of their own teeth and blood."
Oh.
At some point in time. And I was
All
like,
of us?
He really amped it up.
I mean, that's nuts, right? That's unhinged. I don't want anybody
That's it? That's the big deal?
to wake up in a pool of their own blood and teeth over disagreements, right? That's just insane to me. It's insane to me.
He goes, "I think it would make the world a better place if everybody did, right?" And I was like, at the time, I was like, no, that's like such an Old Testament God kind of thing. And like, there's a whole new way of doing things. We should love everybody. And he was like, so vehemently disagreed. And since that point in time, so many things have happened in my life where I'm like, it would be so much better if everybody woke up with their own teeth. Look at the politics that we deal with right now. Like,
Okay. So at the time, he was like, wow, you're crazy, Guy Ritchie, which is normal. Like, right? That's the kind of like the normal response.
I mean, are we taking this literally? You know what I mean? I mean, this sounds metaphorical. This just sounds like, you know, the Guy Ritchie was just trying to make a point that if once in a while everybody woke up with a pool in their own blood and had their teeth falling out, maybe it'd make them realize their mortality. I don't know. I mean, it just sounds like a terrible expression. You know, it sounds like an attempt at being philosophical, but it fails because it just sounds fucking like a Neanderthal or something. You know what I mean?
And then something happened maybe in between there and then. And he snapped. But from what I remember, he was saying wild shit even before that. And he just recently got into some trouble, by the way, with that guy on the bike. And I defended him because he really didn't do anything wrong. That guy that was recording him, like him and his kids were riding around on, I think, dirt bikes. And he was on a sport bike and they were riding around the neighborhood. Actually, you know, not even revving it up like the guy was saying. They were actually being fine. This neighbor guy came out and went full Karen and attacked him, and then he put him down. I still think he should have maybe held back a little bit because he was in front of his kids, but he didn't set all that off. But outside of that, he has a history of just being pretty roid rage.
Am I missing something here? Is there what is he doing that Yellowflash keeps saying roid rage, right? Anger, wild. You know what I mean? Like I don't see that. I just see a dude just, you know, talking shit on the microphone interview. He's just, you know, bullshitting. I don't see the big deal here.
Triggering.
like the White House is in ruins. A fucking UFC cage on the lawn. And like, you just do it. You just fucking do it. And nobody says anything. And no consequences. Nobody asked. It wasn't done.
Wait, is he wrong about that? Is he wrong about that? Is that not what happened?
What kind of consequences should he face for putting on a UFC event?
I don't think. Look, I get what Richie is. Alan Ritchson is trying to say here, because the whole UFC thing. Like, for example, my grandpa, he thought that it was wrong, and he's a big Trump guy. He thought it was like, he uses the words like the White House should be treated like it's sacred. It should be taken seriously, and I don't think the White House is sacred. I think all of the scum of the earth go there. All the evil bastards looking to get power over people. They all settle over in Washington and figure out how to fuck us all to death. You know what I mean? But I get what Alan is saying here. I think he's right. And what he means, what I'm taking from it is like there's no consequences for Trump from the MAGA base. That he does all of this shit. He lies to them. He betrays them. He gaslights them over and over again. I've noticed it. And this is coming from somebody who voted for Trump 3 times. All right, man? And I got sick of the shit. I fucking woke up to it. That's just me. You don't like it? Fine. Okay? But I think he's kind of right, because for the most part, there are no consequences to his actions. I mean, the MAGA base doesn't get recoiled by all of the things that he does. They don't turn back and say, maybe we're being fooled by this guy. Maybe we were sold snake oil. And not only do they not question anything that he does, they just keep cheering it on, rewarding it. It just doesn't stop. So I think that's kind of what he means, but I don't know. I'm not in Alan's mind.
The White House. And by the way, like, I really wasn't the biggest fan of that, because to me, it kind of reminds me of the movie Idiocracy, which is funny because Dax Shepard, whose podcast he's on, was in that movie. Great movie, by the way. I think it's a lot of circuses and
classic movie. There's so many people. There's so many people my age and under that I've talked to from on the job, and sometimes I'd bring up Idiocracy and be like, "You ever see Idiocracy?" I even used the same example, like, "Oh, that shit going on with the UFC. It's like Idiocracy. It's just like Idiocracy." No one seems to know what that movie is anymore. It's really sad, actually.
It was harmless. And then the White House being in ruins because they're putting in a ballroom. Come on, dude. That's exaggeration. They're doing construction on it. This is the kind of shit he's getting triggered over. Don't you have anything else going on that you're that mad about a UFC event and a ballroom getting put in? Like, this is nonsense to get mad about.
I think he's just trying to show the absurdity of it all. I mean, I think there's some Americans who feel like while all of this bullshit is going on with Iran, inflation, and no one seems to want to change anything for the better, you got people like them in the White House building ballrooms for them to dance around in. You got them doing UFC fights, which cost a lot of money for those tickets. I remember reading about how much those tickets cost. There was one UFC fighter that was against what was happening with Israel, and Trump didn't allow him to come, and he was like, what was he, the middleweight champion? So there's a lot of bullshit that's going on, and frankly, I'm surprised that there aren't more people like Alan talking like this. Now, whether they express themselves in a more intellectual way or not, it's not important. The point is, there should be more people who are frustrated with what the hell happened with MAGA and Trump and what they expected, what they wanted from this guy. I think more people should be waking up to the fact that they got fooled. And look, this is not anything new on my channel. I've talked about this so many times before, and nobody wants to watch those videos. That's fine. But I want to talk about this through here because I just wanted to see what the hell Alan is talking about and why the Yellowflash is talking shit about him and why all the conservatives now are turning on Alan Ritchson, although it seems like they've already done that a while ago.
But he's flipping out over it.
Legally, there's no plan in place. Now you're asking for money to create society. It's like, what are we doing? And there's no consequences. And so I'm just supposed to let go of my resentment that this fucking guy is just raping the world that he lives in for whatever gain he personally can have. And I'm supposed to.
Is that fucking wrong? Okay, tell me where he's wrong there, please, because if giving the AI overlords on day 2 $500 billion to build their AI infrastructure, their data centers, to basically replace our creativity and our humanity with AI. If that's not a form of raping our world, building these data centers, sucking up the water, the resources that should be for us, should be our God-given right to drink these resources and use them to live full and fruitful lives and be stewards of our lands, right? Just the data center issue alone supports what Alan just said. Now, there are many other things we could say about, like, well, the Epstein files. You know what I mean? there's plenty other forms of rape that are going on here, mentally, spiritually, culturally. And of course, if you know me, you know I'm going to say this is not a Republican exclusive behavior. This is Democrat, Republican. It's just the political establishment of America in general. It's just how it is. Both sides.
To let that go. And then what? It fucking still exists.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not good at letting it go. I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I hate that shit still lives in the world, unabated, unchecked, unresolved, uncleansed.
horrible.
Look at the Catholic Church and like the predatory behavior that is just going completely unmet with those
Now we're going into Catholic Church stuff, which I don't get how that has anything to do with Trump. And, you know, there's some...
Oh, come on. Come on, Flash. Come on, Yellowflash. Don't act stupid. You know exactly why he's bringing up the Catholic Church. All right? I don't know why he didn't just say Epstein. I do not know why he didn't just say the Epstein files. Okay? Let's not be stupid. Like, even if he's bringing up the Catholic Church, the reason why anybody would bring up anything about child abuse and, you know, all that horrible stuff is because of what happened with the Epstein files and how they handled the Epstein files. Let's not play stupid now. I don't know why all the MAGA people act like none of that happened. Now, whether you believe in it or not, it's pretty obvious that they were covering shit up and they just wanted that to go away as fast as possible. And if you were following that bullshit, all the MAGA people were looking up to Dan Bongino and Kash Patel. I was watching them at the time. I mean, not watching their channels. I remember seeing clips of them before Trump got in the second time. All these promises by Kash Patel and Dan Bongino to go after the Epstein files, hold them accountable, go after the child, you know what I'm saying? And we all see what happened to Dan Bongino and Kash Patel. Total fakes, total sellouts. They were working with them the whole time. So whether he's bringing up the Catholic Church or the Epstein files, I think it's in the collective conscious of many Americans that there was a big cover-up. There was a big cover-up, and you can't get around that.
Happened there, but there's been terrible shit that has happened in a lot of organizations. Look what's been going on in schools with these women teachers pretty much preying on young boys. It's disgusting. People need to be held accountable when that stuff happens. Absolutely, I agree. But why is this being attached to Trump? Trump is...
Because of the Epstein files. Hello? Stop playing stupid. You know why. You know why it's being attached to Trump. Because of the Epstein files. That's it. That's the answer. Well, you know, a lot of people don't have a memory of 15 seconds and they're not on TikTok every goddamn minute. A lot of people are able to remember that bullshit that they pulled with the Epstein files. Now, is that the most important subject anymore? No, I guess not. But if you paid attention, you realize just how disgusting American political system is. The whole thing is rotten. There's not one good thing about the American political system. Not one. Name me one thing that's good about politics, government. Name me one. And you know what? If you will, I will counter you and tell you why you're wrong.
Has been going after the Pope. So I don't understand. I don't understand the connection.
Going after the Pope? What do you mean? He's investigating the Pope for being a child fondler? Or just talking shit about the Pope? I mean, what? You know, it's just words, bro. That's not anything. So what do you mean?
Here.
Victims that are still like unheard, unseen, no forgiveness, no resolution.
Look, Yellowflash, not that you're listening to me. I'm just a little guy with a little channel. Don't hate you. I've been watching your stuff for years. But I gotta say, this is some fucking bullshit, what you're doing. Playing stupid. And I'm not saying Alan Ritchson is some genius and he's the next best thing. All right, believe me, I'm not saying that. But when you're asking the question, why is Trump being associated with child abuse? You tell me the Epstein files don't come up in that little head of yours? I'm sure it does. You just don't want to admit it.
No cure. And what is releasing the fucking resentment going to do for the world? Like, I think we should hold on to some of that anger so somebody gets Guy Ritchied and wakes up in a pool of their own teeth and blood.
So, yeah, people need to be woken up in a pool of teeth and blood. I don't know what's going on with this guy. So now he's attacking Christians, Catholic Christians, labeling them all as predators, spurging out over Trump, putting a ballroom.
Well, just a question, right? If it comes down to the Epstein files, if you're willing to just forget about all of that and protect Trump, and even when I say protect Trump, I even mean like you decide to just omit these facts from our life and you just act like none of it is true, there's no basis to it, doesn't that kind of make you complicit in all of the victims? I mean, because all of you trying to omit it and hide it because you want to protect dear leader, how is that helping the victims of the Epsteins? So then it's the same thing when it comes to Israel. The Christians who support Israel because it says to in the Bible, how is that being a good Christian? Because you're basically advocating for nonstop slaughter of people you don't even know. Nonstop genocide, expansionism, for a country that's not even yours. Okay? So this is like levels and levels of evil and banality that you got to write a whole book about, which nobody would read anyway. But you see where I'm going with this? So the reason why I'm not exactly shitting on Alan Ritchson is because even though he's expressing himself like a Neanderthal, and he's not really doing a good job explaining himself at all, I understand where his anger and frustration is coming from. Because I've made videos like this on my channel as well, about how the Christians have become violent people in their own way by supporting genocide in the Middle East. Sorry, that's what it is. By ignoring all of the corruption and betrayals of the Trump movement, the MAGA movement, just because they don't want to admit anything. And they want to perpetuate this left and right paradigm and play this dance with the left. So I can't get angry at Alan Ritchson because I've had these kind of thoughts as well. Not these violent thoughts like people need to wake up in their own pool of blood and teeth, and that's silly. That's silly. But metaphorically speaking, I think a lot of Americans need like a slap in the face. They need like Cher, you know, on that Moonstruck movie. Snap out of it. Snap out of it. You know, that kind of shit. That's what people need.
In the White House and having a UFC event. Like, damn, dude, did people really get that mad over the UFC event? That is unhinged, man. So now he's out there self-sabotaging this movie that he could have been promoting and talking about.
Okay, first of all, I'm getting tired. Look, Supergirl failed because it was just a bad movie, bad marketing. Because if you watch Supergirl, it's not a woke movie at all. It's just a poorly written movie. I mean, yeah, maybe it has some undertones, but overall, no. It's just a bad movie. Motor City, when I saw the trailer for it, I didn't see a big hit there. So the fact that it's not doing good in the box office is no surprise to me at all. But the one thing that annoys me about the right is they attribute everything to this. Trump-hating Reacher star Alan Ritchson self-sabotaged his box office bomb, Motor City. I doubt he did that just by talking. How many Americans actually watched all of that? And how much of the social media trending actually affects people going to the movies? Because I think people are just not going to the movies as much. Like, Odyssey is doing great. Odyssey is doing really good. But again, that's because Odyssey is a big name with a big name director and a lot of big name celebrities. Motor City is like barely advertised, barely marketed. I saw it for the first time in that Unlucky movie with Scott Eastwood. And nobody was in the movie theaters to see that. Just like 6 old people and me and my mom. So I don't think it has anything to do with Alan Ritchson being a Trump hater. I think it's just a small movie and that was it. Simple as that. And you know, I don't understand this, right? Like, this is what these people would do to me. Trump hater, leftist, this and that. Oh, but I can't be a genuine person who was once a part of it, voted 3 times, and feels like I was lied to. I can't feel that. I have to just be a never-ending Trump loyalist until the day I die. That's a load of bullshit.
About, because, you know, it doesn't sound that bad. It's a revenge thriller set in 1977 Detroit. It follows John Miller, a working-class romantic played by Alan Ritchson, who falls in love with Sophia, the girlfriend of a ruthless gangster, leading to him being framed for a crime and imprisoned.
All right, so we're going to stop there, guys. I think we got the point about all this. I wanted to just see what the hell Ritchson is all about. So let me know in the comments. What do you think? You think he's an angry roid rage moron, just a moron, or do you think he's just a moron who may have a point but doesn't have the ability to really articulate what's bothering him? Let me know in the comments, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment as you see fit.